I stood at the altar of St. Michael's Church, my hands trembling around the white peony bouquet. 25 minutes late. Dr. David Chen, my fiancé of 1 year, should have been standing beside me. Instead, 200 guests whispered behind me while the organist played Pachelbel's canon for the 4th time. Emma, maybe we should. Rachel, my maid of honor, touched my arm gently. I shook my head, throat tight. He's just stuck in traffic. But I knew. The 17 missed calls on my phone told a different story. The text messages I'd refused to read. Deep in my gut, I knew David wasn't coming. Then I felt him. Noah Blackwell materialized beside me, his presence commanding even in silence. My boss. The billionaire CEO of Blackwell Luxury Events, where I'd coordinated high-end galas for 3 years. In all that time, Noah had been professionally distant, almost cold. His gray eyes never betrayed emotion. His rare smiles never reached those eyes. Now those eyes fixed on me with unexpected intensity. "Don't look back," he said quietly, his deep voice cutting through the whispers. His hand closed around mine, warm and steady. Before I could process his words, the church doors burst open. David rushed in, his tuxedo disheveled, and behind him walked Isabella Montgomery, his ex-fiancée, the hospital heiress whose family controlled half of Manhattan's medical establishment. My heart stopped. "Emma, I'm sorry." David's voice echoed off the vaulted ceiling. "I can't do this. Isabella's father is offering me chief of surgery at Presbyterian. You have to understand, this is my career." Church erupted in gasps. I stood frozen, my carefully planned future disintegrating in seconds. 4 years together, reduced to a career opportunity he couldn't pass up. Noah's hand tightened around mine. "Look at me," he commanded softly. I turned to him, tears blurring my vision. "Walk out with your head high," Noah said. "Show them who you are." Something in his absolute certainty anchored me. I straightened my spine, placed my hand firmly in his, and let him lead me down that endless aisle. Past shocked guests. Past photographers. Past my mother's horrified face. Side Noah's black Mercedes waited. His driver held the door open. He'd planned this, I realized. He'd known. How? I whispered as we drove away. Noah's jaw tightened. "I saw David with Isabella at the Carlisle last week. I had someone investigate. Emma, I'm sorry. I tried to reach you, but you knew for a week?" Anger cut through my shock. "I wanted to be wrong," Noah said quietly. "And I wanted to make sure you weren't alone when you found out." My phone exploded with messages. Rachel asking if I was okay. My mother hysterical. "David, please forgive me. You know how hard I've worked for this position. Love isn't enough when there's this much at stake. Love isn't enough. For years, and I'd never been enough. Where are we going?" I asked, my voice hollow. "My penthouse," Noah said. "You need somewhere private to regroup." I should have protested. Instead, I just nodded, too numb to argue. Noah's penthouse occupied the entire top floor of a glass tower overlooking Central Park. Minimalist elegance, floor-to-ceiling windows, the kind of wealth that whispered rather than shouted. "Guest room, second door on the right," Noah said, loosening his tie. "Take your time." I stood in his living room, still in my wedding dress, and suddenly laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. This morning I was getting married. Now I'm in my boss's apartment because my groom chose his career over me. Noah poured whiskey, pressed the glass into my hands. "Drink." I obeyed. The burn shocked me back to reality. Then I burst into tears. Noah didn't flee. He simply stood there, solid and present, while I sobbed into $8,000 worth of silk and lace. When I finally stopped, his hand rested on my shoulder, steadying. "I need to tell you something," Noah said carefully. "I knew about David and Isabella for 2 weeks. I had proof. I should have told you sooner. I stepped back, his hand falling away. 2 weeks? You let me go through final preparations knowing. I was confirming the evidence, Noah said, his voice harder now. Making sure before I destroyed your relationship on suspicion. And I thought he stopped. I thought perhaps he should be the one to tell you. Not me. So instead I got humiliated in front of 200 people. I was there, Noah said flatly. I came specifically to get you out with dignity. Would you have preferred an email the night before? A phone call while you were alone? The fight drained from me. He was right in a horrible way. Why do you care what happens to me? I whispered. Noah was silent for a long moment. 3 years ago, you interviewed for the coordinator position. You described your dream event, a small wedding for a couple married 50 years, renewing their vows in a botanical garden. You made me see it, feel it. You reminded me why I started this company. He met my eyes. I protect people who make my company better. That's all. But the way he said it felt like a lie. My phone buzzed constantly. Friends, family, David begging forgiveness. I blocked his number. That night I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m. I found Noah on his balcony smoking, something I'd never seen him do. Can't sleep either? I asked, joining him. He stubbed out the cigarette. Emma, I have a proposition. Hear me out before you say no. Something in his tone made my pulse quicken. What kind of proposition? My grandfather left me controlling shares of Blackwell Enterprises with one condition: I had to be married before my 36th birthday. I turned 36 in exactly 1 year. If I'm not married, everything goes to my Aunt Patricia. He turned to face me. I need a wife. You need to rebuild your life. I'm proposing a contract marriage. 1 year. $2 million. Separate lives, mutual benefit. I stared at him. You're insane. Am I? You just lost everything. Your apartment is joint with David. You'll be that girl who got left at the altar at every event you coordinate. Or, his eyes held mine, you could be Mrs. Emma Blackwell. Not a woman who got left behind, but one who traded up. Massively. Why me? Because I trust you. I've watched you for 3 years. You're professional, discreet, loyal. And you won't expect more than the contract specifies. You just had your heart broken. I should have said no. Any rational person would have. But I thought about David and Isabella celebrating. About returning to my childhood bedroom a failure. About Noah's hand in mine at that altar, the only steady thing in my collapsing world. What exactly would this entail? I asked. We marry quietly. You move in here. We attend social functions as a couple. Separate bedrooms, no intimacy expected. After 1 year, amicable divorce. You walk away with 2 million in connections that will set you up for life. I looked at my ruined wedding dress still puddled on the guest room floor. Okay, I whispered. I'll do it. 48 hours later, I signed a 37-page contract that read like a corporate merger. 3 days after that, we married at City Hall in a ceremony that lasted 8 minutes. Noah's kiss was brief, professional. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Blackwell, the officiant smiled. We released a carefully crafted statement. Noah Blackwell had married Emma Hartley, his premier event coordinator. Couple had been involved privately for months. They requested privacy. By morning, my phone exploded. Rachel called 6 times before I answered. You married the Ice King of Manhattan? She shrieked. Emma, what is happening? I stuck to Noah's script. David leaving me was the best thing that happened. It made me realize I'd been ignoring my real feelings. Noah was there. He's been there. Do you love him? Rachel asked quietly. Did I? I think I could, I said carefully. Given time. The first test came at a charity gala I'd coordinated, bitter irony, attending as Noah's wife. I wore midnight blue diamonds at my throat. When Noah saw me, he went still. "You look beautiful," he said, and for once, no professional distance colored his voice. The gala, Noah's Aunt Patricia circled immediately. "How sudden," she said, smile sharp as her diamonds. "I don't recall a wedding invitation." "Private ceremony," Noah said smoothly, hands settling on my back, light but possessive. "Your assistant," Patricia's eyes raked over me. "How modern." "Event coordinator," I corrected pleasantly. "And now, wife." "Tell me, dear," Patricia smiled like a shark, "was it love at first sight? Or did it take all 3 years to work your way into his bed?" Noah's fingers tightened on my back. "Actually, I pursued Emma for months. She kept refusing, wanted to keep things professional. I'm fortunate she finally gave me a chance." Patricia wasn't finished. "How convenient she gave you a chance right after being left at the altar. Some might think it was less about love and more about rebounding with a bigger bank account." The words hit where she'd aimed, my deepest insecurity. "Some people might think many things," I said steadily. "Fortunately, only Noah's opinion and mine matter. And we're very happy." I took Noah's hand, threading our fingers together. His grip tightened. "Now, if you'll excuse us," Noah said coldly, "I'd like to toast my beautiful wife." He led me away, hand never leaving mine. "I'm sorry. Patricia's always been difficult. She hates me." "She hates that you exist," Noah corrected. "You're the obstacle to her inheriting my company." The evening continued. Noah's hand rarely left my body, touches on my back, my elbow, my waist. Brief, professional, but my body wasn't getting the memo. Each contact made me hyper-aware of him. His cologne. His warmth. The way his eyes found mine across crowds, checking I was okay. "You're good at this," I said during a rare moment alone. "Acting like you're in love." Something flickered across his face. "Who says I'm acting?" Before I could respond, David appeared, Isabella on his arm dripping diamonds. "Emma," David looked haggard despite his expensive tuxedo. "Can we talk?" "I need to explain." "I don't think my wife is interested," Noah cut in, voice arctic. "Tell me, was the chief position worth it?" David's face flushed. "I know I handled things badly." "You handled things like a coward," I said, surprised by my own strength. "You let me plan everything, then didn't have the decency to tell me to my face you'd changed your mind." "Though it seems you've landed on your feet," Isabella interjected sweetly, eyes appraising Noah. "Quite an upgrade. I suppose we should thank David for breaking things off." "The opportunity to marry the man I love," I said, moving closer to Noah. His arm came around my waist immediately. "Yes, I should thank David. He did me an enormous favor." "Love." David looked between us, hurt crossing his face. "You've known him 3 years." "Because I was engaged to you," I said. "And I take commitments seriously. But when you showed me you didn't, that freed me to finally act on feelings I'd been suppressing." It was Noah's script, but standing with his arm around me, it felt true. "I find that hard to believe," David said. "Neither do I fall in love quickly," Noah said quietly. "Which is why it took 3 years to convince her to give me a chance. I'm simply grateful she finally did." He looked down at me, expression so tender I forgot we were acting. "I'm the luckiest man here." He kissed me, not the brief City Hall kiss, but something real. His mouth warm against mine, hand cradling my head, body curving protectively. When he pulled back, I felt dizzy. "Now, if you'll excuse us," Noah said, voice harder, eyes never leaving mine, "I'd like to dance with my wife." On the dance floor, his arm came around my waist, pulling me close. "That was convincing," I said softly. "Was it?" His voice was rough. "Good." We danced in silence, moving together with unexpected ease. "Thank you," I said finally. For playing the part so well. Emma. He said my name like a warning. There are some things I'm not playing at. The song ended. Noah stepped back, professional mask sliding into place. I need to speak with investors. Will you be all right? I nodded, watching him walk away. My lips still tingled from that kiss. This is just a contract, I reminded myself. Just business. But my racing heart disagreed. 3 months passed in strange rhythm. By day, Noah was the cold CEO. He'd leave at 6 a.m., return late, retreat to his study. But in public, we transformed. His hand would find mine automatically. He'd bring me champagne, kiss me often enough to sell the story. And each kiss made it harder to remember this was pretend. You're glowing, Rachel observed at coffee. Marriage agrees with you. Did it? I gained access to Noah's world, his penthouse, his black card, his name opening every door. But I'd lost my independence. I didn't work anymore. Spent days with personal trainers, stylists, charity luncheons with other trophy wives. I was living in a gilded cage. Emma. Rachel waved a hand. You zoned out. Just thinking, I said. About what? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Noah, need you home by 6. Important. I have to go, I told Rachel. Noah needs me. Rachel's expression was complicated. Make sure you still need yourself, okay? The words haunted me during the drive home. Noah was waiting by the windows, whiskey in hand, looking exhausted. What's wrong? I asked. Patricia filed a challenge to the marriage, he said flatly, claiming it's fraudulent. She has investigators documenting our separate bedrooms, our independent schedules. She's arguing we're roommates playing house. My blood ran cold. They know. They have evidence. Noah drained his whiskey. The trust lawyers are reviewing. If Patricia proves fraud, I lose everything. We'll fight it. There's only one way, Noah said, turning to face me. We have to share a bedroom. Live as an actual married couple. The investigators can't find fraud if there isn't any. But the contract becomes meaningless if we lose, Noah said. You won't get your $2 million. I'll lose my company. Everything falls apart. He moved closer. I know this isn't what you signed up for. If you want out, I'll understand. I'll pay you whatever I can salvage. And you'll lose everything. Yes, but I won't force you into something you're uncomfortable with. I looked at him, this man offering me an exit even though it would destroy him. When do we need to make the change? I asked. Tonight. The investigators are watching. Okay, I said. We do whatever it takes. Relief flashed in his eyes. I'll have your things moved. By the time I'd showered to calm my nerves, my clothes hung in Noah's closet. My books on the nightstand. The bed, California king, big enough that 2 people could sleep without touching. That should have been comforting. It wasn't. Noah emerged from his study at 11 p.m., laptop bag over his shoulder. He stopped when he saw me sitting on the bed in cotton pajamas. You don't have to, I can sleep in the office, he said. The investigators will know. We do this right or not at all? Noah nodded. He disappeared into the bathroom for his shower and I lay down, heart hammering. When Noah emerged wearing only black pajama pants, my brain short-circuited. I'd never seen him in less than a full suit. He had abs. Scars, one along his ribs, another on his shoulder. He caught me staring. Sorry. I usually sleep in less, but I thought. It's fine, I managed, looking away. Noah slid into his side, maintaining distance. He turned off the lamp. Emma, his voice came through darkness. Nothing has to change between us. This is still just an arrangement. I won't expect anything you're not willing to give. I know, I whispered. But as I lay there, hyper-aware of his breathing, his warmth, I wondered if that was true. We'd crossed a line into something far more dangerous. The first week was torture. I'd lie awake listening to his breathing. Some mornings we'd wake tangled together, his arm around my waist, my head against his chest. We'd spring apart, murmur apologies. But gradually we stopped pulling away so fast. Started letting touches linger. Our conversations developed cracks, letting real intimacy seep through. "Why did your grandfather put that marriage clause in the will?" I asked one sleepless night. Noah was quiet. He thought I was too much like him. Too focused on work, too isolated. He died alone except for Patricia circling like a vulture. He didn't want that for me. He sounds wise. He sounds like he didn't understand some people are better off alone, Noah said wearily. Is that what you think you are? I turned to look at him. Better off alone? Noah met my eyes. I used to. The words hung heavy with meaning. Another night, weeks later, I woke to find Noah sitting on the bed's edge, head in hands, shoulders shaking. Noah? I sat up. What's wrong? Go back to sleep. I'm fine. But he wasn't. I moved closer, put my hand on his back. Talk to me. He was rigid, then seemed to crumble. Today's the anniversary of my mother leaving. 27 years ago, she walked out and never looked back. I was 8. My father couldn't be bothered to raise me, left me with my grandfather. Noah, I whispered, heartbreaking. I was 8 years old and my mother decided I wasn't worth staying for. I spent my childhood trying to prove I was worth something to someone. Without thinking, I wrapped my arms around him from behind, pressing my cheek to his back. You're worth everything. They were fools not to see it. Noah went still, then slowly turned and pulled me into his lap, burying his face in my neck. We stayed like that, me holding him while he finally broke, just a little, in the darkness. After that night, something shifted. We stopped pretending. Started allowing small intimacies, holding hands when no one watched, goodnight kisses that lingered, genuine smiles unrelated to appearances. And then came the night of the Blackwell Industries Gala. The annual Blackwell Gala drew 500 of Manhattan's elite to the plaza. I wore blood-red silk that hugged every curve, diamonds at my throat. You look stunning, Noah said when I emerged. The expression on his face made my breath catch. Not polite appreciation. Something hotter. Thank you, I managed. You look rather dashing yourself. The gala was champagne and small talk. Noah kept me close, his hand constant on my back, my arm, my waist. We danced 3 times, more than necessary. Each time, maintaining distance grew harder. Having fun, Noah murmured during our 3rd dance, lips near my ear. Surprisingly, yes. Though Patricia's been glaring daggers all night. Ignore her, Noah said. She received word today, her challenge was dismissed. The investigators found no fraud. We're in the clear. The news should have brought relief. Instead, I felt disappointment. The threat was gone, we no longer needed the intimacy we'd built. We could return to separate bedrooms. Back to business. That's wonderful, I said, trying to sound enthusiastic. Is it? Noah asked, something in his voice making me look up. His gray eyes were intense. Emma, there's something I need to tell you. Commotion erupted near the entrance. Security escorting someone out, someone shouting. David. Let me go. I need to talk to Emma. The ballroom went quiet. Noah's hand tightened protectively on my waist. Shall I have them remove him? He asked. I should have said yes. But something in David's desperate face made me hesitate. 2 minutes, I told Noah. Then remove him. Noah nodded. I'll be right here. I walked toward David, aware of hundreds of eyes. Security released him at my approach, but remained close. 2 minutes, I said coldly. Talk. David looked terrible, tuxedo rumpled, hair disheveled, eyes wild. Emma, I made a mistake. The biggest mistake of my life. Isabella and it's over. Her father was using me. When the investigation came, they threw me under the bus. I lost everything. And you're telling me this because? Because I love you. I never stopped loving you. You can leave Blackwell. Everyone knows this marriage is for his inheritance. You don't love him. Stop, I said sharply. You're right about one thing. You made a mistake. But it wasn't choosing Isabella. It was thinking I'd ever take you back. Emma. I did love you, David. For 4 years. But you know what I learned? Love isn't enough when there's no respect, no loyalty, and no basic decency. And Blackwell has those things. He's using you. He's honest with me. I cut him off. From the beginning, Noah's been honest about what he wants and can give. You lied. You let me believe we had forever while planning your exit with Isabella. So, you're choosing him? I glanced back at Noah, standing exactly where I'd left him, eyes never leaving me. Ready to intervene if needed, but trusting me to handle this. Yes, I said. I'm choosing him. And it's not even a choice. There's no contest between a man who breaks promises and one who keeps them. David stared, then his face crumpled. I really loved you, Em. No, I said quietly. You loved having someone who worshipped you and made your life easier. But when you needed to choose me over ambition, you couldn't. That's not love. That's convenience. Purity moved in, escorting David out. I watched him go and felt nothing. No pain, no regret. The man who'd left me at the altar might as well have been a stranger. I walked back to Noah, who pulled me close immediately. Are you all right? I'm perfect, I said and meant it. We made our rounds, played the perfect couple. But there was new tension now, electric and unavoidable. When we returned home around midnight, I expected Noah to retreat to his study. Instead, he followed me into our bedroom, closing the door. Emma, he said, voice rough. What you said to David. About choosing me. About me being honest. I meant it. The contract expires in 3 months, Noah continued. I need to know, is this still just business to you? My heart raced. What do you want it to be? Real, Noah said, moving closer. I want it to be real. I want to wake up next to you not because investigators are watching, but because I can't stand waking up anywhere else. I want to kiss you because I'm desperate to, not because we're selling a story. He stopped, jaw working. I want to tear up that contract and replace it with something that matters. Like what? I whispered. Like vows, we mean. Like a marriage based on something more than mutual benefit. He was close enough I could see silver in his eyes. Like love. 'Cause somewhere between rescuing you from that church and lying beside you every night, I fell completely in love with you. I know that violates our contract, but I don't care anymore. I love you, Emma. Joy exploded in my chest. Noah, I said, cupping his face. The contract's been meaningless to me for months. Because I love you too. He kissed me, not careful or controlled, but real and raw and desperate. I kissed him back with everything I had, years of attraction and months of restraint finally breaking free. We stumbled toward the bed, hands exploring, clothes shed, careful distance crumbling into nothing. And when Noah finally made me his wife in more than name, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. Later, wrapped in his arms, I traced the scar along his ribs. Car accident when I was 16, Noah said, fingers threading through my hair. My father was driving drunk. He walked away with a scratch. I spent 3 months in the hospital. That's when I decided I'd never depend on anyone. That I'd build something mine alone that no one could take. And now? I asked, kissing the scar. Now I realize some things are worth the risk of losing, Noah said, tilting my face up. You're worth any risk? Even the risk of actually being happy? Especially that one, Noah said seriously. Though I'll probably mess up constantly. I'm terrible at relationships. Good thing you married someone patient. I married someone extraordinary, Noah corrected. I just hope I can live up to you. You already do. You saved me, Noah. You saved yourself, Noah said. I just had the privilege of watching. We fell asleep tangled together, and for the first time since St. Michael's Church, I felt genuinely, completely happy. 3 years later, I stood in the conference room of Hartley Events, my own company specializing in nonprofit fundraising. We'd just closed a contract with the Gates Foundation. Congratulations, boss, my assistant Marcus grinned. This is huge. My phone buzzed. Noah, heard you landed Gates. Told you that you didn't need my name to succeed. Proud of you. See you at home. Home. Our Brooklyn brownstone, purchased when we'd agreed the penthouse felt too cold. A real home with a garden and guest rooms and a nursery currently being renovated. I was 8 months pregnant with our daughter Grace. Noah had cried when we found out, actually cried, this man who'd spent 35 years never showing emotion. He'd sobbed and told me he'd never imagined he could have this, a family of his own. Rachel walked in, her baby daughter on her hip. Still working? You're supposed to be taking it easy. I'm pregnant, not dying. Rachel studied me, smiling. You know, I was skeptical when you married Noah. Thought you were making a mistake. And now I think you're the luckiest woman alive. And so is he. We weren't perfect. We fought sometimes, Noah working too much, my impulsiveness frustrating his need for control. But we were real. Honest. Choosing each other every day, not because of contracts, but because we couldn't imagine life any other way. That evening, I came home to find Noah in our garden installing a swing set. The baby can't swing for at least 2 years, I called out. He turned, grinning. Planning ahead. I walked over, letting him pull me into his arms. His hand went immediately to my stomach where Grace was doing gymnastics. How was your day? He asked, kissing my temple. Perfect. Gates' contract is signed. Of course it is. You're brilliant, says the man who gave me seed money. Says the man who watched you turn seed money into $1 million company in 3 years, Noah corrected. You did that. All you. We stood in our garden as the summer sun set over Brooklyn. I thought about that day at the altar, about Noah's hand in mine, his words, "Don't look back." I never had. I'd looked forward instead, toward this life, this love, this man who'd started as a convenient solution and become my everything. I love you, I told Noah, tilting my face up. I love you too, he said against my lips. Thank you for taking a chance on me. Thank you for rescuing me. We rescued each other, Noah corrected. Best business decision I ever made. Is that what I am? A business decision? You're everything, Noah said seriously, hand cradling my face. You're my wife, partner, best friend, the mother of my child and keeper of my heart. You're every good thing I never thought I deserved. Tears filled my eyes. Pregnancy hormones made me cry at everything. We deserve each other. We deserve this happiness. Yes, Noah agreed, kissing me again. We do. 6 months later, Grace Eleanor Blackwell entered the world screaming. Noah held her with such tenderness that I fell in love with him all over again. As I watched my husband rock our daughter while singing off-key lullabies, I silently thanked David Chen for leaving me at that altar. His betrayal had led me here, to a man who chose me every day, to a love built on honesty, to a family I'd never imagined. Sometimes the worst day of your life is actually the beginning of your best one. You just have to be brave enough not to look back.